is my family walking around? It's so awkward. They can just hear me like, hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. Go away. Hang on. Anyway, what was I saying? Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, it's going to be a very fun and exciting video. As you guys know, I did get 2 new rats about, I can't even remember, maybe like 2 months ago. I initially had the plan to integrate those 2 into my current existing boys of 3, but sadly things got a little complicated and things didn't really work out that way. So the 2 new boys that I got, Blackberry and Wolfy, actually started fighting pretty badly. I actually had to separate them, which was a massive shame. One of them was the problem child, which was Blackberry. He was extremely aggressive, and I did get them both neutered. And then sadly, in my current group of 3 boys, Polo did pass away. So I was down to 3 separate groups of rats. A group of 1, another group of 1, and then a group of 2, which was really not the ideal situation and not what I planned for at all. So obviously that sucked. So thank you to everyone who commented on my other video when I was asking about advice on how I should tackle the situation, who I should introduce to each other first. So what I decided on doing in the end was introducing Wolfy to my 2 older boys and waiting for Blackberry's hormones to die down. They have to wait 6 weeks after being neutered for their testosterone levels to completely diminish. In the meantime, while he was waiting on that, I didn't want to keep Wolfy on his own. So I did go ahead and introduce Wolfy to my 2 older boys. And at some point, don't worry, I haven't forgotten about Blackberry. As soon as his hormones die down, I will be trying to integrate him into the group as well. So the method I'm going to be using today is the carrier method. All of my research that I've been doing on this method is from videos on YouTube. There are some really helpful videos from like emmyology, Shadow the Rat. I will provide a little bit of information in this video as well on like the separate stages in that. So without further ado, let's just get into the video. So first off, what I do is just add some food to the neutral space. This will help to distract them and make the experience positive. Initially, after adding the older boys to the mix, there was a lot of butt sniffing, a lot of sort of walking behind, sniffing each other's bums. The older boys didn't seem to have much interest in Wolfy. Wolfy, on the other hand, seemed quite stimulated. There was a lot of teeth chattering going on from him. He was probably a little bit anxious. You can see them sort of bumping or brushing past each other here in a very slightly dominant fashion. As you can see here, Wolfy is sniffing underneath and very slightly violently trying to push the others. Luckily, the others responded quite submissively, which is good. It's sort of them just figuring out the natural hierarchy, and Wolfy being the strongest and the youngest will definitely be the most dominant anyway. Pretty much from the get-go, they were quite comfortable with each other and able to be close to each other without running away or anything. Other than Wolfy being very slightly dominant, there were no issues at this stage at all. So when a rat pushes himself underneath another rat, like Wolfy is doing here, it's a sign that they want to be groomed, which is good because Shadow responded very well and obviously started grooming him, maybe a little bit violently with his claws right in Wolfy's eyes, but Wolfy didn't quite know what to do with this because the last rat he was with, it was never a friendly experience, so he sort of froze and flattened himself like a pancake and sort of stayed frozen there for a while. You could tell that Shadow was a bit confused by this because he wasn't responding the way that any rat that he's known would. But luckily he didn't contribute to the situation by having a weird reaction to this. He sort of just let Wolfy do his thing. So the next stage of this process is a small pet carrier. I'm just using a critter keeper because this is what I had available. The idea is to keep them in a small space so that they have to be on top of each other and they have to be touching each other, they can't avoid each other. And this is to encourage them to sort out their hierarchy, get used to each other's smells, and just get them acquainted as fast as possible. This stage is notorious for being the most stressful. It's very socially awkward for them and uncomfortable. Another reason why we keep them in such a small container at this stage is that they're completely unable to fight with each other, they're unable to run away, so they can't trigger a chase response, which can be quite dangerous for them, so it is a very safe starting option. Wolfy spent a lot of his time frozen in the corner. He was definitely very anxious. However, there was quite a lot of positive responses as well. As you can see here, he is grooming Taurus, so this was definitely a very good bonding experience for them and very encouraging for me to see. Taurus, on the other hand, was really not happy with the situation that he was in. As you can see here, he spent a lot of his time with his head in the corner, pretending that he didn't exist. I was extremely encouraged and happy to see Shadow's behaviour on the other hand. While Wolfy was anxious and frozen and Taurus being avoidant, Shadow was grooming them both and going to have snuggles with both of them. He was being a really great mediator and really helping to calm down the situation. Shadow and Wolfy seemed to create a bond pretty soon. Taurus was still struggling with the whole situation, but eventually I did see all of them come round, and once I'd seen them snuggling and eating all together as one big happy family, I thought that it was time to move them on to the next stage. The next stage is a small wire hamster cage, and the idea of this is to open up the space a little bit more so they have a little bit more free will about where they sleep and what they can do, but still without the element of them being able to completely avoid each other and run away. Pretty much every time I moved them up a stage, it was a situation of Taurus and Shadow being in one corner and Wolfy being in another corner, which was a shame because obviously I wanted them to be in one big rat pile all together, but I kept them in this cage overnight and there was actually some scuffles, some fighting. No one was seriously hurt, no blood was drawn, which was a good thing. So I decided to keep them in this enclosure for pretty much another entire day, and slowly over time I did see Wolfy being a tiny bit more integrated with the others, eating with them and sleeping with them, but it did take a bit of time. The fighting was mainly between Taurus and Wolfy, but once they'd sorted out their beef, they were able to snuggle together pretty happily. So towards the end of the day, I did decide to upgrade them to the next level. So the next stage is a small rat cage or a medium hamster cage. Some people would obviously call it a large hamster cage, but this size cage is definitely not suitable for any hamster or any rat. So pretty much immediately it was the same issue, Wolfy in one corner, Taurus and Shadow in another corner. Wolfy did seem quite anxious and agitated at this stage. For some reason he was trying a lot harder to escape and get out of the situation. The other boys were extremely calm and didn't add to his stress levels, which was really good. I think something about the expansion of space made him anxious and made him more hopeful that he might be able to escape this terrible situation. I think Wolfy just lacked confidence. He knew that he wanted to be a part of the rat pile but didn't quite know how to go about getting himself in there. A couple times I did see him run from one corner and just shove himself in between the others, which went down pretty well, and once he sort of understood that he was welcome into the rat pile, he sort of got the hang of it, and I did find them sleeping together in big rat piles through the night, which was very encouraging. So the final stage is to move them into one level of their original cage, and I gave the entire cage a massive clean out, wiped down all of the bars, took out all of the baskets that had zip tied to the side, just so the space was completely unfamiliar and didn't smell like any rat, and put them all in there. And very slowly the idea is that you add things back in once they can prove that they are not avoiding each other and are pretty much completely comfortable around each other. So pretty quickly I did allow them to have a hammock, and I was absolutely delighted to see them all snuggling in there together. No issues at all, and it just brought me so much happiness because I was so proud of them, and I just thought that they had done really well. So it's a couple days later, and finally I have opened up the second section and added all of the things back. They are doing so well. Hey Wolfy, are you loving it? Do you like your new home? Do you like your new family? He's just trying to destroy it. Thanks, I put so much effort into making that like nice and smooth. Yeah, so they're doing very well together. Kind of, there's still a tiny little bit of dominance behavior, but ultimately they're pretty much completely integrated. They still sleep in this hammock every night. I think honestly probably gonna be one of the most successful introductions I'll probably ever do in my life. And yeah, they're all very happy. Hi. You like the camera, don't you? Hello. Good boy. The only thing I have left to do is to attach some of these baskets on the side here, just to fill up a little bit more space. That's pretty much it. And I'm gonna be able to free range them soon, so that's gonna be fun. That whole process went. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video and maybe learned something from it. Leave a like and a subscribe if you enjoyed it. Obviously in the not too distant future I am planning on getting some more rats, just obviously because the older boys are getting on in their years, so keep your eyes peeled for that. So yeah, happy new year everyone, Merry Christmas, and I will see you guys in the next year. Bye.